mistakes that I saw that I'm not going to give you the right answers, right? And hey, friends, reminder to those of you changing stuff on your paper right now, if you're changing anything on your test right now, that's for you. If you want to change your answer for me, where does that go? On fresh graph paper, right? Not the original test, because my pen is on there permanently. So I right now would honestly just maybe take some notes with highlighter or something like that, and then deal with your corrections later, and like even potentially later in my class time, because we're going to go practice land the plane for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm just going to let you guys do what you need to do. So, big thing on number 2 that I didn't really like, sorry, I guess on number 1, upper right, I think some people just misread this. And then here for the translation, you need to tell me if we're adding or subtracting, right? You can't just put X and then a number. I need to know, are you adding to X or are you subtracting to X? Same thing with Y. Are you adding to Y or subtracting from Y? In number 2, and I don't think I ran out of effort, but a lot of you had this drawn on your paper. Because you had like 1 to 2 and 1 to 4 or something like that. Guys, our scale factors, we need to start to care, needs to be new compared to original. Like this is the technical right versus wrong. So if we're comparing new to original, your bigger number should have come first. If you're setting it up how we should, it's new compared to original. In the next problem, really, it's just, did you accurately figure out the y-intercept, where we hit the y-axis? It's given to you, like in front of your face. And then did you accurately figure out the slope, change in y, compared to change in x? Moving on, because you're not taking the time to fix this right now. At least you shouldn't be, unless you just want to have to go back and watch the video. Scale factor of 3. And guys, pretty much anytime we're just scaling by size, most often, there might be a rare occasion, but most often you're just working from the origin. If we don't tell you where you're working from, you're working from the origin. So scale factor of 3, then 180 degrees. Give me your eyes if you goofed up on 4. This, part B, you will have an XY from part B. That's what this is asking you. The part B point, where did it go? Right? So like your point that you had from part B, it's like over here somewhere, right? Because it's bottom right corner. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but it's over there somewhere from part B. Then it rotates. Where did that point end up? We didn't really have a name for it, so that's why I said the point from B. So I think that's where some people got a little confused of like, well, what do you mean? Whatever this was, that X and Y, what did it become? Here, I think the only main issues that I saw is people not realizing this was supposed to be like Y equals situation. Of like, you could start with how many cookies you have to start and then how many will it change every trip. A couple of you like had some weird variable stuff going on. Like, one person wrote, like, T equals trips, but then they wrote, like, T equals 45. I'm like, you can't take 45 trips. So, like, you gotta, if you're gonna use things other than X and Y, just be careful how you use it if you're using stuff other than X and Y. I gave you these points because I know my printout is not great. You're always welcome to use graph paper. Right? If you want to take what I've given you and put it on graph paper, you're always welcome to do that. So if you wanted to graph that manually, then we reflect it, and then we translate it, and then we find our new points. Some of you just didn't count correctly. Like, you did your reflection right, and then you translated, and you ended up on the wrong points. That's just addition and subtraction, guys. When we're translating, like, that's addition and subtraction. Scale factor here. D was the trapdoor, which obviously. Here's what might help you with part D. You have a little triangle that is 9 by 6, and whatever the hypotenuse is. And then you have a bigger triangle that is x and 15. I think some of you got real like twisted around by that 9 being involved. It's just showing you the one triangle fits inside the other one. You could pull it out and say, okay, 6 is going to go to 15. 9 is going to go to x. How do we get there? There are multiple ways. I tried to be as forgiving as possible on our perimeter and area, but your options were either you're giving me units. I see a lot of people erasing stuff right now. By the way, you don't need to erase because I'm not looking at your original test again. You need to be continuing to listen in case you get stuck fixing one problem and I talk about another one you made a mistake on. You could either give me units for perimeter or you could give me inches. But if your answer didn't match either of those, it was just wrong, and I don't know how you got it. So, like, if I want to count units, this is 3 units. But if I want to count inches, that's 18 inches, right? Because every unit is 6 inches. So, I mean, aside from just check what you did, you can come and talk to me. We need an explanation of why this happens. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. It's different than perimeter. That's why I keep asking this. I wouldn't keep asking this just for fun. Yeah, about Finn. I tried really hard to set you up for success in Part D. But for some reason, some of us keep trying to make like time the y, because time is almost always x. We can't control time, right? Hey, look, time just happened. I had no control over that. We can't control time. That's why it's almost always our x, meaning your height will be your y. So when you go here to write your y equals equation, it could start with how tall was he when he was born? And then how is his height changing? But be careful, because this change and this change, neither of them is 1. And we like it when the x changes by 1, because that makes things easier. This situation isn't easier. You need to take your delta y over your delta x, which is why I set up this problem to make you think about the change you're seeing to the height is every 3 months, not every 1 month. Now you can figure out what is it every 1 month. How many months will it be for 2 years? Anyway, just 24. 24, right? So 2 years, 24 months. Guys, 10. You guys are all putting in so much effort that is not necessary. So, I'm going to do part of 10 with you. Even though a lot of you got it right, it's not the way I want you to get it right. If you made a big old table, you worked too hard. Seriously, guys, we're getting to the point where, like, you got to try to think what's the best way to do this. My amount of worms, sorry, I start with Smith. I'll start with Smith. Smith brought 32 and used 1 every minute. Hudson brought 5, because Mr. Smith is normally more prepared than me, and I'm digging up, so I'm gaining how many? 2 worms every minute. What do I want you to answer here? When will we be equal? When will we be equal? Guys, do we know how to solve an equation? Like, push the variables to one side, get the constants. A lot of you made a big old table, and you calculated probably about 30 calculations, or you kept adding 1 or adding 2 and subtracting 1. I get it, it's not tough calculations. You could have also solved the equation. What do we get for m equals? And then plug it back in. What's up? You just need 1? Yep. my final one. Alright, so yeah, solving the equation would have been much better there. Like, that doesn't make it wrong if you did the table way, but I'm telling you, like, so the analogy that I made to one of your classmates, not in this room, but like that table is like riding a bike, right? Who here can ride a bike? Well, you don't have to raise your hand because there's somebody who does. I don't want to call somebody out. But like, do you ever want to learn to drive a car? Like, yes, maybe, not interested. Like, okay, Kira, why do you want to learn to drive a car? I like that you put the caveat of in America. You were right. Other countries, public transit is great. In America, to get places more quickly, more easily, more efficiently, that's what I'm trying to convince you to do here. Yeah, you know how to ride the bike. You know how to set up a table. I want you to try to drive the car. Set up an equation and do the math. And then 11 was just graphing of like, do you know how to graph these things? Do you know how to follow those directions? We have like 13, 14 minutes. I do want us to spend like 5 minutes getting the plane to land. Now, I don't love like how this relates to current events that we had another plane crash like recently. That has nothing to do with us doing Desmos. It just is what it is. So I'm unpausing Point Collector, but I want you, because that actually gets into inequalities, I want you to back out and go to land the plane. I want you to back out of Point Collector, or just open another tab. I don't honestly care. You can leave it open if you want. We played with this earlier in the year, I think, but we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just like playing with it. So please read the directions and follow what it says. So like on slide 1, you can't just click past it. You have to actually move the plane. Then in a few minutes, I'll tell you, like, yeah, if you just want to like work on fixing your test or whatever. But I want you to get the plane to land a couple times. You might want to full screen. This activity has a glitch in it that if you're not full screened, it'll get mad. It's amazing how many of you did not move the plane. Hey, so you're supposed to have a successful landing before you move on.
It doesn't let us redo it.
Oh, slide 2 doesn't let you retry. Okay, well,
You don't get to
womp womp. Sad trombone for you then. Sorry, after slide 2, it should let you have multiple chances. Ooh, can't make the runway bigger. Sorry, Ariel. Which, yeah, I have you guys anonymized. I'm pulling it over here to look at your answers. Cannot make the runway bigger. That's a pretty limited factor. Ooh, see the line of where the path will go? A lot of you are saying a line would help. If we had exact numbers, we might have exact numbers.
Guys, I can officially get my pilot's license because that's how it works.
If it glitches, do full screen. Arnya, did yours glitch, or did you just not care to land that plane? You got to drag it on that side. You got to physically move the plane. The one you're on. my view, it looked like you were having issues.
No, I ended up playing again. I could definitely got a pilot's license.
All right, with the last like 8 minutes of class, you can do what you need to do. Remember, corrections go on a fresh piece of graph paper. If you want more practice, ooh, and if you have homework still that is before 7.2.4, right, all that was due last week. But I know some of us weren't here or whatever else, but like, if you got 7.2.1 or 2.2 or 2.3, like those were due. 2.4 and 2.5, we're going to collect. Okay, so here's the problem. I totally wrote that up there backwards. So, you're not going to see me tomorrow. If you have 2.4 or 2.5 done, give them to me. It'd be great. Like, get rid of them. But because I don't... No, I am right. This is today. I keep telling myself it's Monday, and it's not Monday. 2.4 and 2.5 are due. I think I tried to collect 2.4 last week. I won't see you tomorrow. Yeah, watch your steps and watch gravity, apparently. So 3.1, like today's homework is due Wednesday, but if you don't have 2.4, 2.5 done, like we're trying to get into these new habits of do your homework the night it's assigned. No, it's just it's on this side. But yeah, apparently I need to like it was attached to one of the wax things, but it pulled some of the paint off, I guess.